What's up, guys? This is the Penelope update. So I watched a YouTube video of how to beat it.
Whoa, classic save, but not as classic as the $315 hit save by switching to Yui. How's that?
Just call them.
Classic Matt. It's a classic Marie. You insurance.
Hey, time.
Done.
Hey. On your way.
That's deeply nice.
Christmas has always been a special time of life for our family. Time to come together, share a few stories, and have a yarn and give it was. Some of my fondest times are back when we kept things simple. This year, I encourage you to take a moment, have a few laughs, and make new memories. So to all our friends around the world, from our family to yours, Merry Christmas. We programming with some shocking breaking news. There has been a mass shooting at Bondi Beach. 7 News understands 2 gunmen have been apprehended. Several members of the public have been injured. There are grave fears for others, but at this point it is too early to confirm there have been any deaths. We do know there was a Hanukkah celebration in the area this evening that commenced around 5 o'clock. Let's go live now to our reporter Rex Quayle, who is at Bondi. Rex, what more is the case?
So it's only about half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago. Multiple shots rang out. Reported up to 50. Reported 2 gunmen up on the bridge. Trusting to really stand over there on the bridge. From the beach, they ran up, firing into a Hanukkah festival. It's lifting ceremony that people crying, people falling out, literally blood one. There's just been person behind you for the floods, runs and injury. We can't do that these days, but just it is a pretty thing. There is just heaps of people, demonstrators, people crowded around. Yeah, a lot of different burn these days, but pretty horrible.
Rex, we've heard from multiple sources that up to 50 shots were fired, and from the vision I've seen, those gunmen were very close to the stand there at Bondi Beach. What is happening with those that have been injured right now?
They've been treated, people crying. I've seen some people with bandages, blood all over their bodies, people unresponsive, people not moving. They've been treated, they've been oxygen masks being taken out. Ambulances is quite frantic, you can hear screams.
Just maybe it can happen.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for we found systems. You're dead. It is superior to there's reported 4 dead. Again, can't confirm that, but yeah.
And Rex, we're seeing vision now of people absolutely fleeing from the scene, running to the stand, running through the streets. It must be sheep bedlam down here.
Just look coming.
So they've got it.
The
Shoot, they're on the ground then.
families that are yes, calling out for loved ones that are Muslims. It's horrible. That's not. They're being
Face down on the ground. Someone just went and kicked one of them in the head. They're on the ground. Stand to the extent.
It's a very, very frantic statement. There are a lot of hundreds of people, thousands of people here on trying to figure out what on earth is going on. And yeah.
From the vision we're seeing there, Rex, it would seem the police are trying to save the lives of those 2 gunmen, while passers-by, people that witness this horrific scene, are attacking those men lying on the ground, and police are trying to pick them away.
Yeah, we hope the police would treat the government. So You heard that we a property tax right here on the busiest street this on Bondi Beach. They were talking about. I saw people putting it there and people running away with those. Like when I was here, but you just there was the police definitely weren't shooting back. So all again, all quite terrifying for all the people who were too busy going on Saturday night here on Bondi. There was people who were at the restaurants across the road, on the beach, having a swim, people enjoying the festival, the Hardman Festival that was here. And yeah.
Well, let's, we first start, we'll come back here as soon as we possibly can. I think we're just so busy of it's on the bridge over the Bondi Beach, sitting down towards the centre. It's hard to believe what we're seeing, hard to believe the visitor is coming into the museum right now. Tom Saker is here beside me. Tom, what are you hearing the latest again?
We're hearing that in the paramedic on the scene, early saying that those 10 people have been injured. Unconfirmed as to how many people have casualties at this point. Possible as many as 4, maybe more, and that's what happened for children. We can see there on the vision that the government shows that bridge and we're very close to North where a Hunter Festival is happening. Today is the beginning of Hunter.
You get them sick, you have someone on that bridge. Wonder if that's on the government.
Incredibly beautiful lights on that, and it's absolutely packed to the brilliant for people enjoying this summer holiday weather. And I've just had the absolute flight of their lives, and some of those people's lives have been changed forever. I'm also hearing, I have to stress that this is unconfirmed as well, but there is possibly another shooting happening around at Dover Heights, which is about 10 minutes or less just up the road. Also a very big Jewish area, which would fit with the sort of maybe the themes that you have at the moment, targeting the Hanukkah festival. That's what I'm hearing on the ground so far.
You know Bondi very well, and we've seen vision of two gunmen standing on that bridge. Just how close we were to Williams, right?
That's name or Brett, come on.
The
Very close, just
Look,
behind
look,
the bridge there is a little park, which I
So just wait,
imagine is where the
just
Hanukkah festival may have been taking place. So incredibly close range. You can see in the best vision as well, the huge shotguns that were next to them, and they are commonly used
They had shotgun.
range as well, with their shells knitted around them. That man trying to attack one of them as well as the police, have been in custody and also trying to work on them as well. Unconfirmed reports at this stage as well that at least one of those gunmen has passed away. At this time,
That's your grandpa.
it's peak time on Sunday
Oh, kids.
in Bondi this time of year. And with that
Oh, this is
festival
my ear.
happening as well. So it's all in very close proximity, and with such wide open spaces, not many places to hide.
I'll do it.
So you have to go,
sweet.
onto the road, into the houses.
I'm in
into
that
the
too.
streets
Now,
of Bondi
please.
to get away. And I'm sure
Blue, I'm in
those
Manchester.
people
How long are you gonna be?
now
Not long.
would not really
How
know
long?
what was happening, only hearing those dozens and dozens of gunshots ringing out.
No more zero
There
time.
is no doubt this is unfolding as a targeting attack. There is no doubt it was targeted towards the community on what is a very, very stressful day for them. If we're hearing that they were that close with high-powered weaponry, firing up to 50 shots, very sadly, very soon we'll want to hear it someone else.
Well, at the very, very beginning of this breaking news event, and obviously we're very familiar with what that stabbing and how much of that developed in just the space of a few hours. Our reporters are there right now. We have about half a dozen
It's like
on their way there or are there at the moment, trying to figure everything out. And I think once everything comes to light, we're going to know a lot more. And I think this is unfortunately going to become more horrible, soon as finding out where we're.
Well, that's all. I'll come back to you very soon. Let's go back to Rex Mile, who's on the stand down there at Bondi Beach. Rex, what do you have for us?
And I've got just been speaking with a few more people. They saw that I've got the one gentleman who says he saw at least 10 people die in France. There's a report on
Rory fed them at 10 hours
behind me.
today.
I'm not going to say but behind me in this
What happened? They're not.
we can figure what very much looks like up the way. The numbers are unconfirmed at this stage, but yes, we can confirm that there have been some deaths.
And Rex, in the midst of this tragedy, we must presume at this stage that some young children have been caught up in this massacre.
Confirm if any children had been hit, but there were definitely children at this festival. That's a given. I saw families hugging each other in tears. Kids crying about saying that they were trying to run away and flee the scene. I cannot confirm if anything's been caught or hit or injured, but I can confirm that yes, there are some kids here. What it looks like is that kids on the festival, there's some kids animation being played. So when you heard one person say that it was a children's Jewish festival, again, I don't have the absolute latest figure on that one, but that's what people have been telling me on the ground.
And we're seeing pictures, Rex, of people fleeing the scene, running as far from Bondi Beach as they possibly can, as quickly as they can. But on the other side, I'm sure the police presence and the emergency services heading into that area must be overwhelming by now.
Everywhere, they're absolutely formed
Shooting at the moment.
there are,
He's on his phone. That's what's happening.
Police, there are ambulance, there are paramedics, the lifesavers, they're getting from their life-saving stuff. Looks like some volunteer lifeguards were just dining nearby, volunteer ambos as well, coming out, throwing on their stuff. It is absolutely everywhere. There's a serious emergency response here.
If the government's intention was to absolute fear and absolute loathing of Australian sand, it has been achieved this evening.
Quick question. Has John texted you back yet?
Mark, again, anything else except for the fact that the shot on a sacred day was
Very interesting, isn't it? I wonder what kind
in
of bit.
one of the populated Jewish areas of
They're not like us when we have lots of
Rex,
different
thank
ones.
you. Tom, this was only sending shockwaves right for Sydney, right for Australia, but there'd be another
They're a lot
reason
skinnier
why
than
this
ours too.
massacre has taken place on Bondi Beach and is perhaps the most destructive scene anywhere in the world.
So I kind of do, and if they are talking about that Hanukkah festival being the main target for these gunmen, it's also an incredibly important place for Jewish people to congregate. So many of them, thousands of Jewish people live across Bondi and around that area.
Bondi.
And it is incredible to see. I mean, I've seen videos and I've heard the gunshots ringing out as well from several meters away. You can see, there's one of those gunmen right now. You can see. If we can just go back to one of those videos where they're going over the bridge and just listen to those shots being fired out and the eerie sort of silence that follows.
Fucking. They don't want to fuck with people in Gaza.
It's hard to believe that this is Bondi Beach. It's happened. It's hard to believe this is Australia.
Kids.
I myself used to live down there for several years for protecting Dynamo Pay.
Do you know if the outside will play?
People go, look, he's saying the place, take people, kids off.
Unfortunately, we do know that not everyone is okay.
See that?
It doesn't look like everyone will
He
get
must be selecting, he must be just selecting these, watch.
Wait.
I can't believe this is Australia.
I myself used to live there for several years and I'm getting messages of people checking Dynamo Pay. I know several people who are living down there at the moment and I'm checking if they're okay. Unfortunately, we do know that not everyone is okay. It doesn't look like that everyone will get out of this safely. It is an incredibly horrific scene as well.
Benjamin Netanyahu on NTV News.
Some saved by several paramedics on site, but some of those people might not be so lucky.
Straight
We
worked
just
up now.
stroll into Bondi, at least 2 gunmen with huge gun, lots of ammunition. You saw around their belts as well, just how much ammunition they had. They clearly had motivation in mind going to that, what we think is a Hanukkah festival. All of the ammunition you can see littered around them with backpacks and ammunition belts as well. They came into this with a clearly pre-organised and predetermined goal. And that looks like one of the RSLs or restaurants down North Bondi, people taking cover. Obviously, just an incredibly shocking situation.
Yeah, look at that fear painting, and very sadly, reports of this getting worse by again, so we're now hearing unconfirmed that there have been multiple deaths, multiple people with critical injuries, and paramedics and emergency services are trying to save lives as we speak. But a number of lives have been lost, unconfirmed that number, but the reports coming in from Bondi Beach are getting worse. Let's go back to Rex Quayle, who remains at the scene. Rex, what more do you have?
We can confirm that there has been some casualties. We can confirm that at this stage. Again, I'm going to continue. Been lifted into the ambulance. Been worked on. Sure, I'm sorry. We're getting started. Yeah, look, it's pandemonium. It's absolute pandemonium, and yet we can confirm that there is some death.
Any confirmation, this is not correct, any confirmation at this point, Rex, that children are among those victims?
No confirmation that it's that. From what I can hear. But we will have more on that for you.
All right, Rex, thank you. Tom, you mentioned not so long ago that there was some report of a century, perhaps at Dover Heights. Is there any more detail?
At the moment, very early stages. Lots of talk on social media and from people that are in the area saying stay inside. They're hearing gunshots as well in Dover Heights. Again, this is not confirmed, but if you are in Dover Heights watching, perhaps a good idea just to stay inside anyway. It's a very close to Bondi, a very strong Jewish area, and it looks like, from what we can see, that there was a Jewish festival in North Bondi. Again, unconfirmed reports, lots of people talking on social media and people that I know in North Bondi and in the Vaucluse, Dover Heights area, in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, that there may be a second shooting. So if you are in that area, please stay inside.
So much work has been done over the last year or so.
All this one.
Yeah, it's done like fucking Jews and
Just
so
one came out of Jewish in other communities within Sydney, and now looking at these on the bridge above Bondi Beach.
Yeah.
It's possible
Nothing
to untangle
quite
this.
compares to this and the scale of this.
It literally is impossible
As we said
Yeah.
before, they're,
because it's all like,
we're
they're
only
all
going to know
attached.
this,
Just,
in,
attached.
in a few days' time. And
Bits
just
are
like that,
attached to
just
each other. It's not a
one thing.
single string.
All
I'm
the
not going to be able to
subjects
get
of those
out.
random, not random, targeted attacks have been in the area of Bondi,
Yeah,
Dover Heights, Vaucluse,
Stop punching yourself, mate.
specifically
The only
targeting
thing I can
Jewish
think
people.
of to do is like put them in a vase or
As
something,
we
make
said
them,
earlier,
like put them in a
it is the
container so the
beginning
container's all
of the Hanukkah festival, which
pretty,
is the
but
Jewish
honestly, mate,
equivalent of
I
the
can't-
Christmas festival.
I've got
Lots
it
of
as far as I can
children
get it, and
families
I'm like,
at North Bondi Beach celebrating what is supposed to be an incredibly happy time.
It's
Now having
just
to deal with
stuck.
what looks to be several severe and horrible tragedies.
Must be like a circle or something.
Absolutely. It's all
Oh.
about Bondi Beach this evening.
But I can't.
And not just the Jewish community, not
That's
just
insane.
the celebration down there. Bondi Beach on a beautiful Sunday evening is an iconic place to be, a very special place to be. And the beach, the boardwalk, the streets, the cafes, they all would have been packed.
It's hard to see now how anyone can go back to Bondi and not think of what's going on. What's going to feel like? We know that for the people that were there on that day of the mass starting attack in Bondi Junction, anyone who's gone back into the mall there at Bondi Junction, you know, certainly would feel a bit uneasy in that space. And that was a random attack. And this is a targeted attack at, you know, what is probably the world's most famous beach. So it's this is going to change Bondi forever, I would have to say.
It sure is. And again, we are waiting for confirmation. We are hearing the worst of reports that are coming in, but we are waiting for confirmation to ascertain just how many victims are down there, how many lives have been lost. We do believe one of the gunmen is deceased in a shootout with police. We have seen police working on one of those gunmen. Prostate on the path there. We've seen
I know I-
people with tendons.
Can I have some of the food?
One of those gunmen was trying to keep them away while they try to save a life. We do not know how many children have been caught up in this tragedy, but we do fear that number is going to rise as details come in. Sunday night, Bondi, a very, very packed place. And I'm guessing now, as more and more emergency services come in, those that could flu, have certainly flown. The place is really empty as it says.
Yeah, I looked at something like that and what was it, 5 o'clock when the register all starts to unfold. From what we saw from Rex a little bit earlier, there's quite a big crowd running around.
That's all we're gonna hear about for the next week.
The sand that
Wait.
just behind the sand at Bondi Beach, behind the festival where was happening. And but for anyone who is down there or knows someone down there, probably still a good idea to stay inside and go for shelter. With what we're hearing, this certainly could be an active situation. Yes, we still don't know if there could be more.
Rick Squale has been down at Bondi Beach for the last hour or so and has been filing reports for us. Now, Rex, you've been speaking with more witnesses.
Yeah, it just, as I said last time, absolute on Cambodia, where we're seeing, they've been telling us they've been hearing shots, they've been hearing people yelling, people screaming, people being blood all over them. We've heard from.
Oh yeah, you're hearing sirens, you're hearing a shot, and a lot of people just in their small groups speaking, I guess, themselves. What went on here just
3 days, they're confirming
like
it.
this afternoon earlier this evening.
One shooter killed, second arrested.
This, of course, is an unfolding situation, Zach, but we have heard reports that there were potentially 2 gunmen. We've heard reports that, in fact, one of them has been shot by police. A second, we understand, has been arrested. These are confronting scenes that we are showing now, of course, of some of the casualties. Are you hearing any more in terms of anyone actually sort of witnessing anyone armed with a gun or any of the events that unfolded?
We're about 150 metres or so, maybe even further, a couple hundred metres away from where the incident actually occurred. So the people here, I guess their first thought was their own safety. So they've fled into the cafes here, they've gone into wherever they could to get safety and get some cover to ensure that they weren't capable in this situation. The record has seen anyone with a gun, obviously a lot more news is coming into the news, a lot more information is coming into the newsroom as we speak, but I guess the aim over the next little while is to speak to some witnesses here and see what exactly unfolded here at Bondi Beach about the hours ago.
Just describe.
I don't think he doesn't have that many food.
Zach, I imagine people are just in an absolute state of shock. I mean, this to see a vision like this on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, we just never expected.
No, certainly don't, George. As I said, a beautiful Sunday evening here. A lot of people on the hill, on the beach, in the bars, the cafe, enjoying themselves. And the great things about Sydney, the beach and the water and the great vibes leading into Christmas, which is now less than 2 weeks away. I guess it is quite eerie because not too long ago it was a serious situation here where people were fleeing into water, up the hill, into
Mum, there's
cafes, in the
this.
shops and the bars, trying to stay safe and get the safety. And obviously, since then, a lot of people have now come back out onto the streets. There's a lot of people on their phones, I guess, checking their loved ones. A lot of people getting phone calls from their loved ones to tell them that they are okay or them checking in on their safety. A lot of people talking in small groups.
Yeah.
Maybe describing what they saw, and again, what we were planning here to just this afternoon was doing.
Absolutely. Just recounting for people who might have been confused, we continue to continue the government doing some of this money, I think, there's a major energy reported. This all unfolding just after 6:30 this evening. As you can imagine, the beach was just crammed with people enjoying the summer evening. Restaurants filled with patrons, and we're hearing reports of dozens of shots ringing out. That, of course, led to mass panic, people fleeing the area. You can see vision now. We have, I understand, an account from one witness that's just come in. We'll throw that now.
Go.
Chilling scenes.
Oh, chilling.
Just
That's
absolutely
chilling.
incredulous that something like this could be happening at Bondi Beach. We are hearing that 3 people have in fact died in the shooting. One we understand, and this is all yet to be confirmed, but the reports at this stage are that a man believed to be one of the shooters has in fact been shot by police. A second shooter, as we believe it, has been arrested. Is that what else have people been able to tell you there? It appears that it really just came from the blue. People had absolutely no sense of anything brewing in the lead up.
Yeah, they're going to get on the microphone and tell people, fuck it.
Yeah, Georgie, as you said a short time ago, you don't expect this to happen with Sydney's most iconic beach, Bondi Beach, on a Sunday afternoon. Everybody enjoying their evening, whether in the bars, the cafes, on the beach, and the sand on the hills here. As you know, it is one of the true diamonds, the jewels in the background of the city. People enjoying summertime down here on a Sunday, anything a Sunday afternoon. And then out of
That's the most famous beaches.
thinking was fireworks, and then realised, well, it's not nice to drive on the end of it. Those noises, those sounds continue to ring out through the streets here. And realised, well, no, they're not fireworks. This is a serious situation. I guess they feared the worst in that moment, and that's why so many people fled into cafes, under tables, wherever they could to get safety. As you mentioned, there have been fatalities, and that is such a tragic scenario here. And as we go in now, there's police vehicles still streaming down the streets here at high speed. The police chopper, helicopter is still above. There's police trying to get locals away who are obviously asking questions about what transpired here this evening. They're trying to get people out of this scenario. This is a major emergency situation. There's no doubt a lot more unfolding towards the northern end of Bondi Beach, where we're at the southern end right now, that we don't know about. The details will no doubt come to light in the next few hours, no doubt more tomorrow as well, and we'll have everybody at Boston here on 9. But as you can see now, another ambulance coming down the street. We don't know exactly how big a situation this is and how many people are or have tragically lost their lives, or what's been a horrific and terrifying one of Australia's most iconic beaches.
Yeah, so this is what we know right now. We know that 3 people have been killed following this shooting at Bondi Beach. It all unfolded at about 6:40 this evening. We know now that there were 2 shooters, and we are being told that one of them is dead. We understand shot dead by police. Another is in police custody. I'm going to throw now to an account from a local resident, someone who I believe witnessed all of this from her apartment on Bondi Beach. Let's go to that now.
What?
Down on the beach, getting my food, and then all of a sudden we all just loud crash. I thought like even car backfire, and then everyone's like screaming and police is clearing them out, and was involved. Everyone's like running. You see everyone like running in this place. So, and it's not like familiar with 1847, like what the.
Understandably, people in a state of absolute shock, absolute terror. People, we've seen vision of people absolutely scrambling from the scene, from the beach, and from nearby restaurants, people seeking shelter, an absolute state of panic as there's dozens and dozens of gunshots rang off just after 6:30 this evening. This vision here says it all. People is scrambling to safety. As we heard reports earlier, initially there was suggestion that in the lead up to Christmas it was fireworks, it was a festive noise that they were hearing, only to find out that in fact it was gunshots, just surreal scenes at Bondi Beach. Zach Bailey spoke with two tourists who were caught up in the stampede, and this is a bit of what they had to say.
I feel you just tell us exactly what you saw a little short while ago. Yeah, so we were looking here, get the bed all the Sunday afternoon, and we just said what started on fireworks. The beach was absolutely packed, and then there were a lot of fireworks going off, and then suddenly we saw thousands of people running this way, and we all get thrown inside, pulled up in the toilets. I've got a family cover up in the basement, everybody went inside. We were there for about maybe 20 minutes. And again, and it was similar to this, and then we saw thousands of people running all the way towards the game. So again, we just locked ourselves down.
When did you realise that it wasn't fireworks and it was a really serious situation?
You just don't expect this kind of thing, and it just seemed very surreal. And it didn't sound like gunshots, it wasn't a snap, it kind of a dull, like fireworks. Sort of a bit.
She's not.
And I guess it's when we saw thousands of people running from the beach, we realised that it was more than that, and then suddenly the burning kicks on, we all got inside.
So if you're just joining us now, this is what we can tell you. We know that after multiple shots ringing out this evening at Bondi Beach, 3 people have been killed. We understand that there were 2 shooters. One of them is dead. We understand shot dead by police, and another has been taken into custody. Scenes of absolute terror and mass panic along Canberra Parade. We understand this all unfolded at the southern end of, excuse me, the northern end of Canberra Parade at Bondi Beach, and thousands, literally thousands of people on the beach in nearby restaurants lining Canberra Parade were seen scrambling to safety. Many people just absolutely bewildered and terrorised by these dozens and dozens of gunshots ringing out. We're going to cross back now to our reporter, Zach Bailey, who's on the scene. Zach, you mentioned earlier, it is still a scene of absolute emergency with police and ambulance streaming down Canberra Parade. Have you got any more information, any more understanding of the gunman?
We don't at this stage, Georgie. We were trying to make our way closer